Hi, everybody. This is Just Some Guy, and I got a question for you. Does just some guy have to roast a bitch? I mean, I try to be nice. I try not to do that. But, it looks like I am going to have to roast a bitch. So let's get into it. Little Miss Heather Antos just will not go away. She is like acid reflux. No matter what you do, just keeps coming back. So I intended to just ignore her because she's really not worth anybody's time. But I saw this in my Twitter feed, and I just had to respond to this because this is just ridiculous. So, Little Miss Milkshake here decided to give some friendly advice to people on how to behave online, on social media. So let's just get into it. Now, this is the third time I'm recording this. Let's see if I can get through this without swearing that much, because I really don't like this white woman. So let's see if I can control myself here. Okay, so she starts off by saying, "Hey gang, friendly reminder of the basic rule of life. Don't be a douchebag." Okay, well, you failed that. You do know that, right? You totally failed that. You're the person who encouraged somebody, supported somebody doxing a YouTuber you don't like. This is the same YouTuber who said nothing but positive things about one of the books you were working on. And you wanted to dox him because he said some stuff about your CV that you didn't like, bringing up the fact that you're not qualified for the job that you have at Marvel. And so you supported somebody doxing diversity in comics. I mean, if ever there were a douchebag move, that would be it. Doxing somebody, supporting the doxing of somebody, because they went and got your public CV, your public resume, and pointed out the fact that there are fewer things on your resume than there are fingers on one hand. And because you were feeling salty about that someone's pointing out that you really have no business being an assistant editor. Here's what I want y'all to do. Open up another tab, go to any job website, go to Indeed, go to Monster, go to Career Builder, and type in assistant editor, type in editor, and look at the qualifications that they ask for. Bare minimum to get these jobs. You need to have at least a year or 2 years worth of experience. They're not going to hire you right out of school. I don't care how good of a writer you are. Stephen King couldn't get hired as an editor, and the man's been writing for longer than I've been alive. They'd ask him one question: have you ever edited a book? Nope. Okay, well, then we're not going to hire you. I'm Stephen King. Doesn't matter. You've only edited your own work. You don't get hired. You like, well, I did this one anthology, this one time. No. Heather Antos gets a job as an assistant editor at Marvel with multiple books under her because she edited one book. And Captain Cummings reviewed the book. Okay? He showed the book. He flipped through the book. Now, I've not read the book. I've never physically touched the book. I've not seen the book in person because I didn't even know the Kickstarter was happening. But he went and he supported the Kickstarter. He got the book. He flipped through the book, and he was so disgusted with the book that he stopped reading it and felt like he wanted his money back. Why? Because this book was supposed to be a crime anthology, and when you flip through the book, and he does it, he flips through the entire book, and you see that there's not a single crime story in the book. It looks like she just went and got whatever publishable stories she received and went, okay, let's put that in an anthology and publish it. And I mean, the art for most of it really isn't that great. So it's literally like, the best deviant art that she got from the craptacular crop that was sent to her. That's what got published. But you can look at the book, you can look at the pages, and none of those stories look like crime stories. Now, I could be wrong. But you'd think that if you were looking at the pictures, it looked like someone was trying to solve a crime. No, doesn't look like that. Looks like random deviant artwork. That's what it looks like. Just very, very unprofessional, unprepared artist. That's what your anthology was. Beautiful cover. Terrible artwork. stories that are not at all what was advertised. As an editor, you're one of the most important people on a book. You are there to make sure that that book works, that the artwork works, that the writing works, the script works, the panel flow works, that the lettering is proper, that all the special effects and stuff is proper. You didn't do that. You had one editing credit to you, which is an anthology, which maybe they're giving you credit. It's like, well, it had like 10, 12 stories in it, so she edited 10 or 12 comics. That's not enough. That's not enough to do your job. What writing credit do you have? What evidence do you have that you can do the work that you're being asked to do? Because your CV doesn't show it. You have no business being an editor. So it's not someone being a douchebag for pointing out that you're unqualified for the job that you have. That's just a statement of fact. You might not like it, but that doesn't make it untrue. But let's move on. So she goes on and she says, well, insulting and attacking others online, not cool. Well, nobody said it was, but you're not one to talk. You insult and attack people online all the time. Your Twitter feed is full of snarky nonsense. That's what you do. That's all you do all day. Snarky nonsense. You have no business telling anybody else how to behave. And that goes the same for your boy Dan Slott. Cam Cummings had a video about that earlier today where he was showing how Dan Slott was saying that, if you want to break into the industry, and you've been insulting people on social media, then they're going to find out and you're not going to get the job. Like, A, anybody wants to work at Marvel right now, and B, I mean, you've got your job, don't you, Dan? And you spend a lot of your time blasting people. You're going around looking at the Twitter feed to people you've blocked. You're looking at Douglas Arts, you're looking at Captain Cummings, you're looking at Diversity in Comics. You've blocked all of them. And then you go and you check their Twitter feeds and then tweet about what you've seen there. And you spend most of your time on your day sitting there complaining about stuff online and sending hate messages and nasty snark to people online. Instead of writing the books that you're supposed to be writing, that you're being paid to write. That's why you're missing your deadlines. That or you're shoveling food in your mouth, one or the other. You can't be doing the other most likely thing a grown man would be doing if he had spare time, because I don't think you can reach it under that gut. And then we have Heather Antos here, who is just, your claim to fame is that you damseled. You played poor little white girl being picked on. And because you're blonde, and you're blue-eyed, and you're cute, you're not pretty, you're cute. They just flocked you. Oh, poor little white girl. Oh, what'd they say about you? That you were bangable? Oh, they made fun of feminism. Oh, hashtag milkshake. This is your claim to fame. All right, fine. That's all you got to offer. Okay, so and she keeps on going. She goes, and while we're at it, attacks don't equal criticism. Yeah, see, this too is why you shouldn't be an editor. So, what the hell do you think SNL has been doing with Donald Trump over the last year? That's not just criticism, honey. Those are attacks. See, the two are not mutually exclusive. You can do both at the same time. It depends on the context. And you know that if you were actually an editor who had read things, who reads books, who watches TV shows, who watches films and understands them and analyzes them, and then uses that to do your job as an editor to make sure that the flow of the story that you've been handed works. But you didn't do that because you edited one book that you didn't edit very well. So you don't actually know what you're talking about. Little Miss Milkshake. She goes on to say, critique, story, the story was sporadic and unclear. Complaint, that's not my insert here. Attack/insult, fuck you, go die in a ditch, fucking whore. Yeah, I agree, those last three, well, the last two, the fuck you, I'll let that one slide. Those are just insults. Yeah, I'll give you that. They're not part of a criticism, but the complaint that you're talking about, your quote-unquote complaint there, that's criticism, honey. Again, you know that if you were actually an editor, but you're not. See, That could be just someone complaining about something, but context matters. So if what followed after "that's not my Spider-Man" was why it wasn't their Spider-Man, that's called a critique. Little Miss Milkshake. What are you, like 24? Come on. You spent more time going through puberty than you have been an adult. So why is anybody listening to you? You don't know anything. You've had no life experience. This is why you can't write anything. And this is true, by the way. This is absolutely true. If you have not lived a life, you've not had anything bad happen to you, it is very, very unlikely that you're going to be able to do anything of any quality. I'm going to be perfectly honest. If you encounter someone who's like 21 and they're a fantastic writer, they either have natural talent for it or somebody molested them as a child. There is no other way around that. One of my friends, this man has a Luther Vandross voice. His voice is just insane. He's whiter than the ghosts themselves. He's Greek. He's pretty. He's prettier than Milo Yiannopoulos, actually. Milo's like a 7. I would put my boy, he's about 7.5. Milo might actually consider boning him, or letting him bone him, rather. That's how pretty this dude is. I was actually out with him. He was helping me go and find apartments. My friend, not Milo. Milo probably would like me, and then he realized I'm too short for him, and that wouldn't work because I'm only 5'7", so that barely reaches his chest. He's very tall, I think. But I was out with my friend, and we were going to, I was like apartment hunting. He was helping me, and at least 3 or 4 times, people thought that we were like a couple. And I'm just like, look at him. Like, I'm a 5 at best. This man is too pretty to be with me. So he could get way better than me, but I digress. Let's get back on topic here. This insanity of just not being aware of what it is that you're doing. You don't know what you're talking about because you had no life experience. Okay? This man has had life experience. He was horribly abused for the majority of his life. So you know what happens? He sings a song that needs passion, and you can hear it. It puts you in tears, right? That's what happens. Now you let somebody else sing that. They could bring the passion, but you listen to this man sing something like Footsteps from Pearl Jam, and it's just like, fucking hell, stop, because I'm about to cry, because he means what he's saying. Heather Antos doesn't have any experience like this. You have none. Your CV shows it. You did like 3 things. 3, that's it. Why are you an editor? Why are you an assistant editor? You have no job experience. You can't be mad at people for pointing that out. It's not an insult to say that you're unqualified. You're not qualified for the job. Hell, I'm not qualified for the job. And I've actually written books. I've actually written little novellas. I've had work published before. Short stories. I'm not qualified for the job. Half a dozen short stories does not make me qualified to edit a book. Are you... I'm not going to swear. I'm going to let it go. Let's move on. So then she goes, this is what actually pissed me off. This is what made me want to make the video. Is that she said, oh, and if your first thought was to respond to this thread with sarcasm, snark, and general shit talking, I suggest you go back and reread the first tweet. Okay, well, let's do that. Let's go back. Hey gang, friendly reminder of the basic rule of life. Don't be a douchebag. Like I said when I started, you failed that. Your little tweet here, that's a douchebag tweet. Your whole little Twitter thread here is full of sarcasm and snark and general shit talking. That's all this is you shit talking. You are mad because you got called out for being a purse puppy. That's what you're mad about. You're mad that people found out how you got your job and realized that you are less qualified for the job than Swatch is to be picking out fabric from Project Runway. You like that reference? That's good. I'm going to be watching myself some Project Runway this Thursday, by the way. You have no business doing what you're doing. You're not qualified for the job. It's not anyone else's fault but yours. And Marvel for being stupid enough to hire you. So you're gonna sit here and you're gonna damsel? You're gonna act like the victim? And let's just keep in mind here, when you go to her little page, you can see she has almost 20,000 followers. She's got twice as many tweets, so she tweets up a storm. She's barely following 500 people. She's got a bunch of likes, but almost all of those likes are from this little hashtag milkshake thing. When you scroll down and you look at all the other things that she's been tweeting, including the stuff that I just showed you, right? You look at everything else that she's tweeting. Look at this: 24 likes, 11 likes, 41 likes, 82 likes. How do you have? You got this one here. That's a retweet, okay? This one here, this is a retweet. Anything that's high is a retweet. Everything else that she's doing on her own is barely hitting. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh. Mm. 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 Oh, you know what popped into my head is a great Robin Williams bit where it's just like, oh, please don't wear those. Oh, please don't put those on. Because this is what happens when you let the milkshake crowd get in it. Jesus Christ. She's wearing the belt so that it actually looks like she has boobs, because if she didn't, the side fat would just make her have a flat chest. Let me get back to what I was talking about, because I'm just really going to be tearing her up. This is just insane, though, is that you're sitting here and you're looking at somebody say this nonsense who has no business of doing any of this stuff. And the thing about her page is that, nobody's retweeting you. So all those followers, no one retweets what you do. No one's actually following you. So you just have a bunch of people who just like, oh, I'll click on that because hashtag milkshake. That's it. That's your claim to fame. Marvel Comics editor, Force user, Chimichanga curator, possible Gwenpool. That's it. You wrote yourself into a comic. Other than that, you have absolutely nothing to offer. And you know what? You've been ruining Marvel Comics. This little thing here, this little image, this is precisely the reason why Marvel Comics sucks right now. The only one with an iota of actual interest is this one right here. That's it. All the rest of this can be just tossed. It's useless. Don't need it. That's actually the prettiest squirrel girl that's been drawn in like 5 years. I don't understand why you still have a job. How are you an editor? How are you an assistant editor? How do you have a job at Marvel when you've edited a book? You're a child. You shouldn't be working in a top position when you have absolutely no skill to do the job. The books that you're working on are bombing. And the ones that aren't bombing, I guarantee you they have Star Wars on the label. Prove me wrong. Go ahead. Prove me wrong. You have no business working at Marvel Comics. I can do your job. I'll do your job for free since you clearly don't like doing it. You spend way too much time on Twitter. I mean, this thing that she tweeted, that was from 3:30 New York time. I'm in Chicago. So the time frame here, it says for me, it says it was done at 2:22. So that was 3:22 New York. So that's the middle of your workday. The middle of your workday, you stop to tweet out this nonsense. You shouldn't be. If you can't do your job, you can't focus and keep off of social media long enough to edit the books. Don't work at Marvel. Simple as that. I don't know what it is that you're intending to do with yourself, what you think this is going to be a bridge to, but could you hurry up and get there? Because I really would like Marvel Comics not to suck. Just honestly, and I think, I know people are probably not going to like this, but I think, it was a mistake for them to promote Joe Quesada out of the editor-in-chief role. Because The worst he did was Brand New Day. That was the worst he did. I'm not saying I liked it, but that was the worst he did. When he was in charge, none of this would have happened. They wouldn't have allowed it. It wouldn't have been anywhere near this. She would not have been working there like that. Okay? So, could you please go away? Or at least have the decency to stop acting like you know anything. Girl, you are barely old enough to be out of puberty. Nobody needs to listen to your life lessons because you haven't lived a life. Please just shut up and stop damseling before you get some innocent black boy killed because he looked at you too long. Okay? Thank you for listening, people.